Alright, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today. Going into this weekend's Tampa Pro, which arguably might be the most competitive Tampa Pro we've ever seen, I got some more updates from some of the guys, starting with Patrick Moore. So Patrick Moore sent me these this morning. And I was just talking about in the last video how we haven't really seen very many actual physique updates from Patrick. So he sent me a bunch this morning to kind of get an idea of where he's at going into the Tampa show. So he said that these pictures were from last Monday at the start of his depletion phase for the show. He was saying for the Legion show, which may have been probably his best look in recent years, he did a 6-day depletion for that, and he was much more dry, lean, detailed than he was at the Cali show. He said for this show, he's doing a 10-day depletion, which is why he started last Monday. But he said the plan here is to come in tighter than he was at the Legion, but a little bit fuller. And he also said that he's 9 pounds less today when he sent me these pictures than he is in the picture. So not the best, like, most recent idea of how he's looking because these were last Monday and he's 9 pounds lighter now. But he's very confident going into this show. And that's the thing that, you know, a lot of these guys that I've talked to behind the scenes that are doing this show, they're all very confident going into this show. I've talked to like 4 different guys now that all said they think they're going to win. This is their best look ever. And that's what makes me so excited for it, because not only are these guys saying that, but you look at some of the updates that we looked at in yesterday's video, and it's evident that a lot of these guys seem to be bringing their best ever package to this show. And that's what I feel is the cool thing about a guy like Patrick. He's a guy that, you know, he's kind of looking for redemption here. He wants to get back to the Olympia stage. He wants to make an impression like he made back in 2019 that first got people talking about him and his physique, that condition that he brought to that 2019 Olympia that got him that top 10 spot. He's kind of struggled to get back to that point since then. And this could be a show, and I told Patrick this because this lineup is so good. If Patrick were to win a show like this, I do feel like this would put him back on the map going into the Olympia. And he did also say he's planning on also doing the Texas show, which I feel like is another cool thing about this Tampa lineup being so deep. I feel like a lot of these guys, with the proximity to Texas, both in the date and in the location, I think you'll probably see a lot of these guys also go to Texas, the Texas Pro, which is next weekend. And you kind of have an opening there as well, because I heard that Andrew Jacked, who typically does that show to qualify for the Olympia, he's not actually competing in the Texas Pro this year. He's going to be there to make an appearance, but he's not actually competing because he already qualified earlier in the season with the FIBO show. So I feel like with a guy like Andrew Jacked not being in that lineup, it presents an opportunity for these guys like Patrick, for example, kind of looking for redemption and to like reignite that spark in his career. But not only a guy like Patrick, but a lot of these young up-and-coming guys that maybe haven't been to the Olympia yet, maybe haven't won a show yet. It presents 2 opportunities back-to-back to kind of do that, because in these lineups where you don't have a first call-out Olympian like Andrew Jacked, but you've got a bunch of hungry guys that are kind of, like I said in the last video, they feel like they're all on kind of an even playing field, and that's why I feel like this is going to be so competitive, because there's really not any guys here that are like a clear front runner. Like if Andrew Jacked were in this lineup, he would be a clear front runner because he's a first call-out Olympian. You don't really have that here. You've got a lot of guys that are pretty good and pretty evenly matched. I feel like you're going to have a really exciting competition in this Tampa Pro. But shout out to Patrick Moore for providing these pictures to give you guys some insight into how he's looking and how his prep has been going. Because like I said in the last video, I wasn't really seeing him post anything as far as physique update-wise on his Instagram, but this is kind of the behind-the-scenes stuff that he's allowing me to share with you guys here, and I think that's pretty cool. One of the reasons I love Patrick, man. And then I looked at the update that we saw today from Beef Stew, another friend of mine. And Stu, well, for one, he's got the new haircut, which has got to be a good sign, right? But I think Stu looks to be, as far as prep pictures that I've seen from Stu since I've been following him, I think this is the best version of Beef Stew that we've seen so far, just as far as physique updates during peak week. I don't think he's looked better than this. I think this is the best I've seen him, especially conditioning-wise. And I think Stu is a good example of that guy that's hungry. He's looking to bring his best. He's one of these up-and-coming guys that hasn't won a pro show yet. He hasn't been to the Olympia yet. He had some placings last year that were a little bit lackluster. And this is an opportunity for him to kind of get some redemption from last year, and not only get redemption, but kind of start to make that impact to where he's winning shows, qualifying for the Olympia. And that's what makes a show like this so exciting, not having that like clear first call-out Olympian frontrunner. I feel like this show, not only being highly competitive, but also being a show that it's really anybody's game. Like I said, with these guys being on this kind of even playing field as far as where their physique is at, this is going to come down to, I think, who's in shape and who's not. And I think from the looks of what we're seeing from Stu, he's going to be one of the guys that's in shape. And that's why I can't help but be excited for this show, because I think you're either going to see maybe somebody like Stu that's never won a show before win this show and get to their first Olympia and make their Olympia debut, or you're going to see maybe somebody like Patrick that is looking for that redemption. And I think winning in a lineup like this would be tremendous for somebody like that. And then I look at some of these other guys that we really haven't even talked about, like Pin Young Long. We didn't talk about him in yesterday's video, or we did talk about him, but we didn't show an update. I was looking at this update from him just 3 days ago where he looks insane. And he's coming over from 212, and in the 212, he was a top 11 Olympian. But he's competing in open here. He's another guy. He looks nuts. He's got a really great shape to his physique. He's got a really great flow. If you look at him pose in this video, some of those front shots, just the taper is crazy looking. And he's really full in 3D throughout the arms, the delts, the chest. He's got a really nice look to his physique. He looks like he's in really good shape. I'm not as familiar with him as some of these other guys that we've seen compete more recently, but he looks like he could be very dangerous here too. And again, that's kind of my point. I feel like a show like this, you could have a big moment for somebody that hasn't really had that big moment in open bodybuilding yet. And I think it's going to be highly competitive. I think that top 6, whoever's in that first call out, I think is going to be a really highly competitive battle. And I think it's going to be close. I don't think there's going to be a clear top 3. I think it's going to be a fight. And then I saw some more updates from Jordan Hutchinson, and I've said this to a couple of the guys that I was talking to that were competing in the show. I think Jordan's updates are probably some of the most impressive, if I'm being honest with him, some of the most impressive updates of anybody that I've seen going into this show. His conditioning looks gnarly. He looks bigger. He looks improved in multiple different areas. But conditioning-wise, I don't think anybody's physique updates have quite spoken to me like Jordan's. I mean, you can really see the kind of shape this guy's in. The striations in the chest are really deeper than you're seeing from anybody else. As far as the glutes and hamstrings, I don't think any of the other physique updates from any of the other guys that I've seen are as deeply separated as Jordan. And as far as these young up-and-coming guys, I think he looks to be one of the most dangerous, even though resume-wise, he might not be the most stunning with what he's done with his short career so far. But I think he's going to be really the surprise of the show. I think he looks really dangerous. I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of the front runners here. Not a very deep contest history that he's had, but looking at these updates that he posted just 46 minutes ago at the time that I'm recording this video, this guy is impressive. He's the real deal. And like I said, as far as peeled, he looks to be one of the most peeled guys in this lineup. And he's weighing in at over 265 pounds at 4 days out. So he's no small guy either. So he's peeled. He's big. This guy's dangerous. And I also think it's worth pointing out that at last year's Texas Pro, where he was second to Andrew Jack. So even though he didn't win, he was second to a first call-out top Olympian. And then there was another guy that I was looking at that's in this lineup I'm not super familiar with, Justin Savoie. But I saw this physique update that he posted recently at 4 days out. And the thing that really stuck out to me, obviously he's in really good shape here. He's very grainy, very conditioned. But the other thing that stuck out to me was the body weight. Now, I think he is a taller guy. But if you look at the caption, 296 pounds at 4 days out. This is a big dude. And I think it's going to be interesting to see him on stage next to these guys as well. Like I said, I think a lot of that weight is because he's a taller guy. But very impressive conditioning for a guy that's 296. So again, who knows what's going to happen with this show. And I think another cool thing about this, and this is kind of why I'm doing a day 2, basically another preview for the Tampa Pro, is there's a lot of guys that are not quite big names yet in bodybuilding. And I feel like this is a good opportunity to highlight some guys that are really impressive, that are really on the upswing with their career at a show like this. And this is a good opportunity to kind of give them the spotlight, because it looks like a lot of these guys are really bringing a very good physique to this show. They might not be these high-level first call-out Olympians, but these are all really competitive guys. And like I said, I've talked to like 4 different guys. Every single one of them said they're confident they're going to win this show, and that's what I like to hear. And I'm excited to see this show. We've been 2 weeks now with no open bodybuilding, and I think this one's really going to deliver. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Give me your Tampa Pro predictions. That's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.